The most expensive question in the world of AI right now is, what is the best AI model? Because while you're trying to figure out this question by doing shootouts of different models, testing new features, watching YouTube videos, looking at all of the documents on benchmark testing, you're not actually getting any real work done, or at least any work that has any value. Now, it's not entirely your fault. The industry is really good at keeping your attention with new headlines, new feature releases, new model drops, and that this next one is going to change everything, that with a click of a button, you're going to be able to do unimaginable things, make gobs of money, and you're just going to sit back and be sipping pina coladas on the beach because the robots took over. Now, this isn't really the reality of it. If you think about it, if we take a step back and see what's really happening here, it's all just marketing. This is the way that the companies are playing the market to get your attention, to get you to continue to consume their products. I mean, how often have you heard something like, Claude Code is the best coding, agent out there. And when it was not the number one, everyone championed Claude Code. Now Claude is at the top, and everybody is now saying that it isn't what it used to be, and it's too wordy, and it's lost its magic, and it's just not what it is. And now we're going back over to ChatGPT because Codex now is the model that is it's a working man's model. It's very unfluffy. It's straight to the point. And then the next week it's going to be back to Claude Code. And then what about Gemini? I mean, let's talk about Gemini here for a second, because Gemini at the beginning of 2026 came out as like, oh my gosh, Gemini, what was it, 3.5 Flash or something like that? I can't remember all the model numbers. There's too many to keep track of. But when Gemini released the 3.0 it was, everybody was talking about how this is like leaps and bounds better than anything else out there. And you got to be using Google. You got to be using Gemini for your AI. And I haven't heard about Gemini in a while. It's definitely fallen way back. But I assume pretty soon they're going to release another model. And then what's going to happen? Gemini is going to be at the top of the race again. Oh, now Gemini came out, and oh my goodness, this whole model is going to change everything again. And now boo with Claude Code and boo you ChatGPT. And then they'll release a new model, and so it goes. If you're already exhausted listening to me talk about this, then you're in good company, because it is so hard to not get sucked up into the news cycles of AI and the doomsday speeches. They all say it's going to replace all white collar workers and knowledge workers are going to go by the wayside. And why even, build a skill with your mind, because AI can just do it, right? Might as well just give up and get into the trades, become a plumber, become an electrician, do something that AI, at least at this point, can't do. I'm sure that the companies would argue that those jobs are going to be at risk too, because we're going to bring in all the robots. I'm going to step back here and just, let you know that I am not someone who hates AI. I love AI. I love using AI, and I use it every single day in my workflows. However, I don't look at AI as this magic bullet. It's never been a magic bullet. You will eventually come up to the limitations of what AI can give you, especially if you're someone who is an expert in your field. If you know something about what it is that you do for work and you try to have AI replace it, you'll start to see that it really isn't a good apples to apples comparison. As you begin to work with it, as you get into more complex workflows and more complex logic, it will lose the thread. It will start to pattern match off of things that you're saying. It will start to kind of close in on itself and start giving back things that just really aren't that useful. So you have to be aware that the change in model does not matter. There's always going to be a new release, a new feature, a new this, a new that. It's all additive. There's adding. And what we should be thinking about with any tool is how is it that we're using it to subtract. I guarantee you that most of your workflows can run on some of the older models and it'll handle it just fine. You don't need to have supercomputer or super intelligence to run basic workflows and automations and things to help alleviate the pressures that you're feeling in your workday. You're just not going to need the highest of all the models. So if it doesn't matter which AI to use, then what are we even doing here? What are we talking about? And I want to kind of step back a little bit and just look at, again, the marketing. I used to work in music. I worked in a recording studio. And as a hobby type business, as something that people genuinely love to do, there's so much product that gets pushed in terms of plugins and software where you only need a couple of tools to produce music. However, a new version of that tool comes out every single week, and that becomes the thing that's going to change your music. It's going to change your mixes. It's going to give you that extra secret sauce that you've been missing. It's just runs rampant. And this is the same kind of thing. It's just marketing. It's just people going out there trying to make a buck off you. And I know it sounds crazy that I'm talking about, YouTubers or companies marketing. I'm here on YouTube talking to you right now, and you're probably thinking, well, what is it that you're trying to sell? And really, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to sell the idea that you can take control over your business operations and those ideas that you've had in your head that you just couldn't quite get out because you needed to hire a developer or you hired a third party to do it for you, but then they do it, and then you have to then put them on retainer or continue paying for maintenance, or they walk away entirely from the project and you have no idea how they built what they built or how to maintain it. I'm here to tell you that you can take care of those things now. But it's not going to be with the way the AI companies are marketing AI to you, because it's not a magic button. It's not something to where you just say, okay, I need this thing done, and boom, there it is. You need to work with the AI, but you also need to understand that it's not just AI. You're not just leveraging one of the models. You're not just going to Claude Code and saying, hey, I need you to do this thing. And then it says, okay, thank you for giving me that direction. Now I'm just going to continue to do that over and over again. There has to be some kind of structure. There needs to be guardrails. You need to cage the wild animal that is AI. And you can do that. And that's what I'm here to just explain. It's not really so much about the model. It's just about your systems. What kind of systems do you need? And then building the guardrails around a system that's not going to break every single time there's a new model release or there's a new headline, or make you feel like you're missing out because you're getting the outcomes that you want. And if you're getting the outcomes you want, you don't need to pay attention to the headlines. You don't need to pay attention to what new models are being released, or if you need to switch your account from Anthropic over to OpenAI or over to Google. You can use all of them if you want. I use all of them for my workflows, but it's not necessary. I don't need to use all of them. It's just I use it because sometimes I run out of tokens, so then I just go over to the next one. But then that goes back to my point of the fact that if you can build a system and a cage around your workflow, then it doesn't matter what AI is in the system. And the system should be something where you're not relying on AI to recreate every single time you need something done. You should be using AI as a way to iterate and build, and then that build becomes something of structure. There's foundation to it. There's architecture behind it. There's code behind it. So that code, when it runs, it does what it's supposed to do every single time. And then if you still need AI within the mix, well, then AI can live in the code and be called to do a very specific task. And that very specific task can be easily measured. And then that way, your expertise can tune and train it. But the thing is now when the AI is built around the harness of code, well, you are able to then take a look at it and trust it a little bit more than just running into a chatbot and getting a different answer every single time you ask a certain question. You can get the code to give just enough context for an LLM to give you back something that is going to be meaningful and consistent. And that's what we're looking for in this world of AI. This is what I'm looking for in this world of AI. And this is what I want you to find in this world of AI. Is not more AI and more crazy and I can 10x or 100x. Like, no, that shouldn't be your goal. It's not going to work out well for you. Just because you can do more doesn't mean you should. You're always going to be the bottleneck. You're never going to be able to outpace a machine. You're never going to be able to outpace AI. If you don't believe me, just go and think about the last time you did a super session where you had multiple different threads going with AI, and how often were you checking the output after, say, 2 hours? Maybe even after an hour. Because to work with AI, you need to know what AI is giving back to you and sense checking against it, pressure checking it, and making sure that what it's actually doing is what you want. Because once you start to lose your own ability to think, you start getting lazy. At least I know I get lazy. I will stop checking the output. I will start to say, yes, let's go, let's do this. Your plan sounds great. But the devil is always in the details. And if those details that you don't want are in the plan, the AI is not going to stop mid-plan and then re-question what the plan was. It's just going to execute the plan. And before you know it, you're in some different area that you did not want to be, getting responses that you just don't know why you're getting. And you're like, this does not work. And then you're frustrated and you don't know how to go back. You don't know where to even begin because the AI has already gone off and built a bunch of different things and you have no idea even what folders it's in. You don't have any idea if it wrote code or if it did write code, how that code even, like how to even read the code. And that's a big problem. And it's something that we're all going to have to deal with at some given point because I do believe that AI is going to become something that we do have to work with. If we're going to have any competitive advantage in the future, yes, AI is going to be a massive component to that, but it's not the thing that's driving. You're always going to have to drive because you are a person with a unique perspective, a person with a unique approach to your expertise. There is no one else on the planet who is built like you. And AI cannot replace that. AI can only pattern match against the data that it has. And so if you think that AI can come in, and I'm sure if you're listening to this, you don't think it. You probably think, yeah, AI is not going to be able to replace me. And you're absolutely right. I just don't think that narrative is going to come to pass because, I mean, let's just face it. Without humans, there is no value to be derived. AI can't satisfy itself. AI can't satisfy another AI. It's not a living, breathing thing. As much as they want to tell you, oh, this AI went off into and started making, started thinking and pondering in some corner of its, mind, so to speak, then I guess, you could say that, but it's not a human. It's not someone that it does not need to survive. It just doesn't. So your expertise matters. And focusing on the LLM is focusing on the wrong thing. Focusing on what AI is doing tomorrow, and if you need to stay up to date, otherwise you're going to fall behind, is the wrong way to think about this. You need to get off the treadmill. You need to stop and get out of your computer. Get your head out of your phone. Get off YouTube. Shut this video down. I'm giving you permission. But if you do, go out into nature. Go walk around. Find margin. Take your time back. That's what AI is going to allow you to do when you learn how to harness the AI. When you learn how to know the outputs you're looking for and then putting in the structure around that to get the output. And that can mean a lot of different things just depending on where you sit in your work. If you're an owner and you're managing people, you could use AI to put together plans that you could give to your employees to make sure that they know exactly what it is that they need to get done. And then the AI is already pre-programmed to help them do that. You can use it to help catch leads. I wouldn't recommend it be the only thing talking to leads, but it can definitely stop lead leakage. A response to a lead is better than no response at all or a late response. If I'm somebody who has a plumbing issue and I reach out to a plumber, I don't care if it's an AI responding back to me. I just need to know that someone on the other line is paying attention. And then if that AI then can connect me into a human and I can then get the service that I need done, then great. It's just speed to lead. Or maybe it's something to where it's just keeping your knowledge base centralized. Right now, I mean, if you're in a large organization, you know the pain of having to deal with different areas of knowledge and never knowing which one is up to date or if this is outdated knowledge or whatever it may be, and trying to continually know where things are placed, who's updating what processes are new for the new year or whatever it may be. AI can help synchronize all that. It can make it more cohesive and coherent and easy to find, which is going to make everybody's lives better. And it's not to make lives better so that way they can just do more. It's to be able to remove all the things that just tax your brain, that make you cloudy in the middle of the day, that make you feel like you just need to go take a nap or you're just not very sharp. It's to remove all those things so you can get back to the deep thinking, the real work, the human work, which is to think and be innovative and to develop and to find ways to solve problems and to get out there and talk to people and build relationships and be a human. But the thing is that I feel like work so much now pre-AI and even still with AI, it turned into tool management. It's all the softwares that we use that are supposed to make things more efficient, but now we're managing softwares. We're trying to figure out, how to become a power user of this thing or whatever it may be. And we're now not really actually doing anything. We're just managing tools and data instead of actually going a layer deeper and thinking about like, what is it we're actually doing for people? How does this move the needle for someone who has a problem, and how are we coming to the table to solve it? And that's the questioning, and that's the things that we're not going to get the best answers from when it comes to AI. I've tried doing different types of projects or ideas that I iterated with AI, and they all kind of fall flat. And it's my intuition, it's the things that I know that I just have a sense that AI does not have. AI does not get a sense or a hunch or a thought of, well, maybe this is something that could work, though it may not necessarily make a whole lot of sense on paper. And no AI, no matter the model, is not, in my opinion, ever going to get that sense. No amount of training is ever going to teach an AI intuition. Just can't have intuition. It doesn't make any sense. So what am I getting at here? I mean, the AI talk, if you are feeling burnt out by it, if you're feeling anxious by it, you feel like you're on a treadmill that you just can't get off because it feels like every single week or every single day, something else comes out that you need to read. Some other YouTubers coming out saying that this is the model that can, change the entire world of business. You no longer need a designer. You no longer need a developer. You no longer need to have any people. You can just use the AI because the AI can do absolutely everything now. And you're just feeling exhausted. I just want to give you permission that it's all marketing. It's not going to change. It's just like the political news cycles. It's there to keep your attention and keep you locked in. That's the game. So don't think that a new AI model is going to come around and change everything overnight, because people are slow to change. I'm sure you've dealt with this with clients where, you want them to move fast, but they don't. You need them to give feedback, but the feedback they give is hidden with a bunch of different types of intent because they're too afraid to actually speak their mind, or they don't even know what they're looking for. Or, the challenge of just change management, putting in a new system and having people actually follow it, having somebody adopt the things that you're innovating and creating to make things better. Adoption, change management is a huge thing, and that's something that doesn't go away. People are never going to become easy. We're never going to be easy to work with. And there's no AI model coming out that's going to change that. Yes, AI can remove some of the bottlenecks of admin tasks and the passing of papers and the synchronization of data and building out plans and figuring out ways to make your life better. Think about all the software that's been developed before AI. Well, AI can do a really good job of developing a lot of that kind of software. And if you have the idea, you can sit down with it and build it out, get the plan, but you're still going to need to know what it is you're trying to get. You're going to need to know a little bit around what it's doing so that way you can manage it. You can't unsupervise AI because your intuition, your perspective, your expertise, it matters. It will always matter. So get your head out of the news cycle. Get your head out of worrying about which AI is better. If you come up with a real issue and a real block in your work, and it's something that maybe the way the model is responding, then maybe address it at that point. But don't think that you're missing something out there because that thing out there you're never going to get. Because once you finally get it, well, guess what? There's going to be something else out there that you're going to need to go and get. And you're going to feel this constant need, this constant want, because want creates want. Because again, we are human. We are not AI. We are human. And you're going to fall into the same traps humans fall into for the entirety of the human race. We're not that much different. We're not that much more special than our ancestors. We're still human. We're still emotional. We make a lot of decisions emotionally. We're not logical. Again, humans are not going to be replaced. I don't see it. You're not going to be replaced. But you need to get out of thinking that you're on a treadmill, because the promise of AI is that we get to step off the treadmill. We get to take our ideas and we get to bring them to life. We get to do that using less money, less resources, and in a way that gives us the ability to grow in our understanding of what's possible in the world. AI is a fantastic learning accelerator. I use it all the time to learn new things about what it is I'm trying to do. When I come up against a problem or a solution, even if that solution works and AI gives me the solution I'm looking for, I will go back and ask, like, what did you do? Why did you do that? And as in that inquisitive process, I may see things where I go, well, why didn't we do this? Or I start to find other questions that I didn't know to ask before, and this strengthens my knowledge to be able to then be better at directing and managing AI. AI is incredible. The things AI can do is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't want to live without it. I just don't want to obsess over it, idolize it, think that it is the end-all be-all. It is a tool. That is all AI is. It is a tool. It's not your friend. You don't need to name it. You don't need to have Claude as a buddy. You just need to understand it's a tool, and how do you use that tool? And it can do a lot of crazy, wild things. And it doesn't mean that you should do all the wild and crazy things. We need to subtract. We don't need to add. They're trying to add, make it so you can be a developer, make it to be so you can be a designer, make it so you can be an operations specialist, make it so you can be this, that, and that. And as you start to try to go down on those rabbit holes, you realize that those rabbit holes go very, very deep still. And there's no amount of knowledge that you can absorb to be able to do all those things and be good at them. So don't give up on yourself. Don't worry about what LLM is best. There are going to be leaps and bounds and differences as we move forward. Yes, that's going to happen, but they just put those models into their products and they deprecate other models, and you just have to adapt when you need to adapt. But when you have a working system, swapping things out is not really that hard. And when you have a working system, it really shouldn't mess with the output all that much. If all this sounds good to you, or you're like, yeah, this is awesome, and you don't know where to go with it, if you're like, I get what you're saying and I agree, well, I want to just let you know that there is a process that I use to harness AI, to be able to build with AI in a way that feels authentic to me. And you can go on the link in the show notes below and just go and take a look at it. You will have to give your email. I will follow up with some, other extra tips on how to leverage the system. And if you are crafty enough, you can use that system to build out basically your AI workflows in a way that I talk about, where you're not obsessing over the AI, you're not obsessing over the tool, you're just getting to work. You're finding ways to be more efficient. You're finding new and better ways to do the things that you do, and to be able to do it in a way that's sustainable, so you can take a step back, so you can gain more of your time back. We're taking back time. The future of work to me is one where it's going to be about the most efficient is going to win. And AI is a great efficiency tool as long as you don't get sucked up into the game of just do 100x, 100x. We're going to 1000x. We're going to do so much more because this tool can just go so fast. Don't need it. People don't move that fast. We just don't. And you don't need to either. So go take that walk. Go get some fresh air. Go journal with actual pen and paper. Do some analog. Get out there and, let your intuition, let your thoughts start to just marinate. Go out there and think. Think, and then go to the AI and see what you can build. All right, and if you made it this far, you're an absolute beast. You're going to do all right. And let me know in the comments below what steps you're going to take to get back more time over the next week instead of getting wrapped up into all of the hype and that treadmill feeling. All right, I'll see you in the next one.